The sniper is the most contentious class in TF2. He can one-tap any class in the game with a well-placed headshot. This forces players to respect long sight lines, otherwise they would risk getting shot. The sniper is lethal at long range, it's his most optimal position. Mid-range and short range, however, leave much to be desired. The sniper's other weapons let him defend himself if enemies get into his personal space, assuming the sniper doesn't just outright quickscope headshot you. But what if the sniper didn't have his sniper rifle? What if he really liked D&D and roleplayed as an archer? In medieval mode, the sniper only has a bow and arrow, backpacks, and his cartoonishly large knives. This begs the question, how good are these weapons? Same criteria, the weapon's loadout synergy, team synergy, and 1v1 potential with random crits enabled. Will the sniper hit his shot, or whiff completely? Let's go. In the base game, the Bushwhacker is a common melee seen by snipers running the Girardi Bushwhacker combo. Unfortunately, in medieval times, they hadn't invented peeing yet. Actually, in the 1800s, a man named John Uren peed for the first time, so this explains why the Girardi isn't allowed in medieval mode, minus the fact that Girardi's overpowered and can be spammed onto objectives, crippling the entire enemy team for free. Without the Girardi, the Bushwhacker has no consistent way of dealing critical hits. The Bushwhacker lets snipers convert mini-crits into full-on crits. However, it can't random crit, and the sniper takes 20% more damage while holding it. Medieval mode strips the sniper of his kidneys, so he doesn't have access to his on-demand mini-crits from Girardi. Instead, the sniper relies on teammates giving him the ability to crit, with weapons like the Buff Banner or the Fan of War. Too much is out of the sniper's control for him to make the best use of this knife. Instead, leaving the player with a melee worse than stock since it can't crit, and he'd take more damage for holding it. The Bushwhacker is easily the sniper's worst weapon in this mode. He isn't built for direct combat, and this option makes him even worse at it. Not only that, but the reliance of factors outside of your control make it very difficult to use this weapon to its fullest potential. One of the sniper melees of all time, the Tribalman Shiv has very simple stats. Hit an enemy and they bleed for 6 seconds, but you deal 50% less damage. This melee makes the sniper go from dealing 65 damage per hit down to 33 base damage. The trade-off for bleed in exchange for less initial damage is not worth it. Sure, the weapon could potentially deal 48 extra damage, but a total of 81 damage over the course of 6 seconds is just not enough. Melee fights in this game type don't last long anyways, especially for the sniper. Besides, curing bleed damage isn't rocket surgery. Just step over a health pack and you're good, which is absolutely a common occurrence in medieval mode. Not only that, but Demo Knights could just use their charge and get rid of the debuff. So 9 times out of 10, after you get into a fight with someone, the bleed doesn't even stick. Most of the time, if you're running this and get into a scrap, you'll likely not deal enough damage in time to get a kill, even with a crit. Oh yeah, crits deal 146 damage, compared to the stock's 195. Even with full bleed duration, the Shiv isn't even better than stock. All it'll accomplish is causing a potential sense of panic in the enemy, and they might retreat. But why would you do mind games with your melee when you could just outright kill your enemy and not think too hard? One final thing about the Shiv that gives it a possible purpose would be tracking cloaked spies. Unfortunately, a majority of spies run the Dead Ringer, so you'll barely be able to track spies down even if they're cloaked. The Shiv and the Bushwhacker just don't work for medieval mode, and they're both in contender for the worst of snipers' melees. The sniper's last resort of a random crit is crippled with the Shiv, making it among the weakest in 1v1s. The Bushwhacker and the Shiv do not suit sniper in medieval, so they'll both be sharing a spot in D tier. C tier is for the Darwin's Danger Shield, one of 3 backpack items for the sniper. Equipping it grants the player a passive of plus 50 fire damage resistance and an immunity to afterburn. In the base game, I find myself wearing the Danger Shield whenever I get hit by one too many sword shots. In medieval, the only time you would be set on fire would be from the sharpened volcano fragment or huntsman snipers with lit arrows. With these 2 use cases in mind, there's little reason to equip Godzilla's foreskin, especially at the opportunity cost of Sniper's other 2 backpacks. I suppose it's better to equip something in your secondary slot, that may occasionally help you survive an arrow, rather than go in with nothing. The second sniper backpack is the Cozy Camper. Equipping it gives the player passive health regen of up to plus 4 HP per second, no flinching while the sniper is fully charged with the scope, and 20% less knockback while aiming. This is another backpack I like to use in the base game, since it completely removes the enemy's ability to aim punch. Plus the health regen is convenient for healing chip damage, or crisp damage if you're British. In Medieval, the only primary weapon you have is the Huntsman, so there's no purpose in equipping the Cozy Camper for any of the benefits regarding the aiming. The health regen can be nice when you're retreating, but a bulk of damage in this game type is burst damage, making it harder to heal than chip damage. Not to mention the health packs around the map. The sniper could always position himself just outside of battles and heal from the small health kits left after a scrap, like some sort of vulture eating roadkill. The existence of health packs leaves little reason to equip the Cozy Camper, but it's not a bad item to equip. It just isn't good in comparison to the final backpack item that the sniper has. The Shalashaska is Sniper's version of the Equalizer. When below half health, your melee deals 25% more damage. When above half health, you deal 25% less damage. For self-defense, this melee is the best. An average melee swing deals 65 damage. Taking 65 damage as Sniper leaves you directly below half health, thus unlocking your max damage for your melee. You go from dealing 49 damage at full health to dealing 81 damage. In turn, this means a crit at above half health could deal 146, but a crit below half health does 244. This melee is dangerous if the Sniper survives taking a melee. He goes from dealing pitiful damage to a lethal amount. Initiating fights with the Shaun the Sheep could wind up leading to your detriment, as you're neither as threatening nor effective at closing out fights. The Sniper doesn't have great tools for close range. It makes sense, his weakness is close range, so giving the Sniper an amazing melee for combat is paradoxical. With that being said, the Sniper's best melee is Stalk. It deals a consistent 65 damage and can randomly deal 195. Nothing fancy, and just like in real life, just whip that thing out whenever people get too close to your personal space. Stalk and the Shahansha are interchangeable, since they cover up Sniper's weak spot the best compared to the Shiv and Bushwhacker. The ultimate secondary for Sniper, the Razorback. Putting the shield on your back prevents the Sniper from getting backstabbed at the expense of 0 overheal. This is Medieval, so the overheal downside is non-existent. Instead, the Sniper directly counters Spy, since the Spy can no longer insta-kill a Sniper with the Razorback. The matchup is already a bit tough in Medieval mode, since the Sniper has range and the Spy only has a knife. But the Razorback makes it near unwinnable for Spies in a 1v1. The Spy can only deal 40 damage to you if you get tangled with him, compared to the Sniper's usual damage of 65. Not only that, but if a Spy winds up backstabbing the Razorback, the Spy will get stunned for 2 seconds. A tactic you could use in games could be to purposefully get backstabbed by the Spy by turning around mid-fight. That way, the Spy could do nothing for 2 seconds, but run away. There's almost no good reason to not equip the Razorback in Medieval. It completely nullifies the threat of a Spy and puts the odds way in the Sniper's favor. The Razorback is a must-have when playing Medieval, and since the Spy is meta and really common, you no longer need to fear his backstabs. Obviously, the Huntsman is the Sniper's best weapon and one of the best weapons in Medieval mode. Thanks to the Huntsman, Sniper's subpar melee combat is delegated to self-defense, since his bow and arrow are the bulk of Sniper's attack power. Range in this close quarters explosive game type is powerful. Being able to insta-kill someone from across the map is a privilege that only the Sniper and the medic can do consistently. The arrows do a base damage of 50, and they deal 120 damage with a fully charged body shot. An uncharged headshot deals 150 damage, with a fully charged headshot dealing 360. The phrase, "whatever Spy can do, Sniper does better," still rings true in Medieval. The Sniper doesn't need to put himself at any risk at all if he sits behind his team with the Razorback and spams shots into the crowd. The main threats to you, as a Sniper, are other Snipers and medics. This game isn't played in a vacuum, so of course enemies will likely slip past the front lines and be able to 1v1 the sniper. Something terrible, or great depending on your moral compass, is that the sniper can still reliably hit headshots in close range. The hit detection for the Huntsman arrow is enormous, so even if the class manages to get into mid or even close range against a sniper, the sniper can still pull off an instant headshot if their aim is on point. However, if you miss your shot with the Huntsman, you'll need to wait about 2 seconds to reload and fire another shot. Those 2 seconds can easily be life or death. This can be alleviated by switching to your melee as a last-ditch effort, but now the fight had likely gone in the enemy's favor. Finally, you can deal fire damage by dipping your arrows into small fire pits around the map. The fire deals about 4 ticks of damage per second for about 8 seconds. The flaming arrows are pretty much a one-hit kill on light classes, since the 120 base damage plus 2 ticks of fire annihilate them. On top of all of this, it can taunt kill. It's a pretty good taunt kill too, but only use it for style or for ranking up your strange part. The Huntsman is one of the best weapons in Medieval, if not the best. It can take down every class in the game at any range, and it's a force that shouldn't be reckoned with. The Sniper is one of the best classes in Medieval mode, with his Huntsman killing everything in its sight, and the Razorback denying spies of any semblance of interaction. Just like the base game, the Sniper is only limited by his aim and his line of sight. By keeping your eye on the point or on the enemy's spawn, you have potentially the best area denial in all of the game. Of course, not everyone plays Sniper like they did back in 2021 by spinning and spamming voice chat or whatever they did, so there's bound to be missed shots. Even with all of the whiffs, the Sniper still needs to be respected if you value your life.